Hey, 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 what's going on, family? Welcome to Practical Moments with Will. That's me, where we talk about real life, we talk about real what? Faith, right? And we do it all with no filter. Okay, so let's get into it. So today I want to talk about a subject, love doesn't fail, but sometimes it can get tired. Love doesn't fail. Sometimes people get tired. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, I want to say something right out the gate. And it's going to sound a little controversial at first, but really, in my opinion, it shouldn't be. But that's just my opinion. And y'all know that sometimes my opinions is a lot different than many other people's. Love doesn't usually fail. The truth is, people just tend to get tired. And I don't think that we truly talk about that enough. And that's why I wanted to get on here and talk about it. Y'all hear my chair squeaking? Okay. So we frame everything as commitment issues. We frame it as, what do you say, character flaws, or sometimes we even say there's lack of effort. Um, but I think that a lot of relationship breakdowns really start with something as simple as depletion. I mean, we all tired. We all got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. It's not always betrayal. It's not always indifference. Sometimes it's just fatigue. People, especially in today's society, they really just they try for a very long time. They're constantly showing up. They adjust. They carry a lot more than they may have expected or even planned to. And over time, I think that it causes disappointment to show up. It starts to, pile up, if you would. And it's not always from the big things. And I think that's where people miss it. Sometimes it's from small, perceived unmet expectations that never truly get named. And that may be part of the problem. Um, you may be hoping that things will change. You may keep telling yourself things like this is just a phase. You keep pushing past the signals that your body is clearly giving you until one day you wake up and you realize you're really not angry, you're just empty. And emptiness is dangerous because it really starts to make everything else start to feel a lot heavier. And now you're having conversations and words are starting to land a little harder. There may be silence, and the silence starts to feel just a little bit louder. And before long, I think that you start noticing that even small conflicts start to affect you and you take them personal. And instead of asking yourself the simple question, could I just be tired? You know what we ask? I'm glad you asked. We ask, what is wrong with me? Y'all know I'm telling the truth. And that question alone, though it feels very innocent, starts to create real distance. Now, I don't know if that's you or not. Some of you may be like, what is Will talking about? But for those of you who know that this is you, I want to give you some inspiration today. Because if this feels familiar, I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear it good. Fatigue doesn't mean that the love is gone. And being tired does not necessarily mean that you have failed. We all get tired. It usually means that you've been giving a whole lot without restoring yourself. Hello? It means that you may be giving a whole lot, but you're not replenishing yourself, family. And love needs rest, just like people do. You don't fix being exhausted with getting more intense. You don't fix exhaustion with intensity. You fix it with care. So, what is that care? I'm glad you asked, Will. Naming fatigue doesn't threaten commitment. In fact, it's the opposite. Ignoring it does. And y'all gonna hear me talk about this a lot. Let's name what we're going through. Okay? Because sometimes the most hopeful step is recognizing the tiredness for what it is before it actually begins to turn into something else. And as I tell y'all all the time, that is not weakness. That's how love truly stays alive. So I hope that this blesses you where you sit today. I hope that you hearing what I'm saying. And if it's not for you, that maybe you would send this to someone else who may need to hear this today. I appreciate it always, you spending a little bit of time and taking a few moments with me. I want you to take care, and we'll talk to you next time. God bless.